We're excited to be here today to be able to share tips together on navigating your academic careers, your different journeys, by knowing how to get a scholarship and a lot more. So today, I'll be calling on Haruna Damba before he comes up to officially open the session. I'm going to tell you briefly about Haruna Damba. Haruna Damba is a 2025 Master Access to Exchange Extend and holds multiple prestigious fellowships, including the Professional Fellows Program on Inclusive Civic Engagement, the Young African Leaders Initiative, that's Yali Regional Leadership Center, East Africa, and the Terrorist Network of Next Generational Leaders Programs. So while we're going through our Haruna's bio, I'll just beg that the slides should be put on the screen so that we can see exactly who we are talking to, who we are talking about. You get to know who we are talking about. I hope that's fine by you, Haruna. So as I was talking, Haruna, he is a One Young World Ambassador and a Global Talent at Unleash and a recipient of the 2024 Professional Fellows Program Alumni Impact Award. From 2023 to 2025, Haruna served as an executive member of the U.S. Exchange Alumni Council, representing over 5,000 alumni of U.S. exchange programs in Uganda. He holds a bachelor's degree in biomedical laboratory technology from Makerere University in Uganda, and he identifies as a person with physical and hearing disability. So today we are honored to have Haruna here with his rich background. So I officially call on Haruna Damba to open the session for us. On to you, Haruna.
Thank you very much, Master, for that very kind introduction, and welcome everybody on this call. Good evening, or good afternoon, or good morning, from wherever you are tuning in. And usually, when introducing ourselves, we start, by describing ourselves. So again, my name, I'm called Damba Haruna. I am a young Black African with a medium to dark complexion. And right now, I am wearing a white t-shirt and transparent glasses. It's a very great pleasure to be able to see everyone on this call, and I do. So today, we are gathered here to share information, motivation, and practical resources intended to support anyone who is aspiring, to obtain or gain international opportunities. And today we say you don't need a perfect path. Perhaps you just only need a short, and we do all consider that as a first step, we needed to have the right information. And so we may consider this session as a doorway to the knowledge, or just, a start to resources, and perhaps a future to all of that you have been able to dream about, studying abroad or attaining a fellowship abroad. All of those you have been able, to dream about. And so right now, when we are talking about to study abroad opportunities, we don't necessarily mean like, stepping on the plane or just crossing borders, moving from your country to another country. But basically, what we talk about here is kind of opening our mind, opening our hearts, to many realities. And so in the process, we gain the tools that can help us solve local problem with global perspectives. And so with that said, I would like to extend an appreciation to Mobility International USA, who are actually working together with us to organize this session. Mobility International has been at the forefront of advocating for the inclusion of minority groups, the national exchange programs, and leadership programs more broadly. So Mobility International USA has consistently reminded the world that access is not a favor, but a human right. And when the world says no, you don't quit, but you get smarter, you get stronger, and you go again. I would like to extend an invitation to my dear colleague Ashley Holobane from Mobility International, who gonna share a little bit about her perspective, why we need to prioritize people from minority groups into these exchange programs. And yes, thank you very much, Ashley, for joining us here today. The mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Haruna. This is Ashley Holben speaking. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. And since Haruna described himself, I'll describe myself. I am a non-disabled woman with light skin and long dark hair. And I have a virtual background that depicts a colorful mural of disabled women from around the world. Which is a project that we did through my organization. So I'm representing the nonprofit organization Mobility International USA. We are based in the United States, but we have the privilege of working with people all around the world. And one of the projects that MIUSA, as we call it for short, we implement a project called the National Clearinghouse on Disability and Exchange. This is through a partnership with the US Department of State. And really the mission of the project is to ensure that people with disabilities are participating in the same types of international exchange programs, such as Study Abroad or professional fellowships, and that they're having the same opportunities to do so as non-disabled people. And so through this project, we do a number of things. We share information. Sometimes it's disability-specific information. Sometimes it's information about international exchange opportunities between the United States and countries around the world. The externship that we've started doing this externship program over the last few years, and it's been a wonderful opportunity to meet people like Haruna, who have the capability of reaching new audiences that maybe we can't reach. And the purpose of the externship is for international exchange alumni with and without disabilities to assist NCDE with our mission to promote the participation of people with disabilities in international exchange and to promote the leadership of people with disabilities in international exchange. So Haruna, thank you so much for gathering us all together. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. And if anyone would like to learn more about NCDE and our work to connect people with disabilities to international exchange between the United States and other countries around the world, you can find us on our website, which I will put on the chat, miusa.org/NCDE. Or you can always email us at clearinghouse@miusa.org for any questions that you might have or just to get more information. So look forward to hearing from some of you. And I would like to now turn it over to, I would like to introduce a guest on this call. But first I'll start by saying I'm based here in Oregon in the West Coast of the United States. MIUSA has been very busy hosting our own exchange program of disabled women leaders from around the world. And they are here in Oregon right now. So it's very exciting to be in the midst of an exchange program. The one that we are hosting right now is called the Women's Institute on Leadership and Disability, which only happens every few years. So it's very exciting when it does happen. And right here on this call right now, I'm going to be introducing someone who participated in this Disabled Women's Leadership Program through MIUSA many years ago. And so it is my honor to introduce the Honorary Safia Nalule from Uganda, who was a MIUSA Wild alumni in 1997 and 1998. So many years ago. And we're so glad that she's still in touch with us today. And I just like to say, so not only did she participate in MIUSA's Women's Institute on Leadership and Disability back in 1997, but today she is a distinguished Ugandan public servant and disability rights advocate who serves as the chairperson of the Equal Opportunities Commission, which is an institution that's mandated to assess the level of institutional compliance with gender and equity principles all across Uganda. Safia was previously appointed to the Constitution Review Commission by the President of the Republic of Uganda, during which time she championed for critical legislative reforms, introduced the requirement for all public institutions to obtain a certificate of gender and equity compliance before budget hearings. So thank you, Honorary Safia. And she has also served as a member of parliament representing persons with disabilities and as a counselor representing persons with disabilities in the Kampala Capital City Authority. Finally, she holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in chemistry, mathematics, and zoology, as well as a master's degree in human rights and a first-class diploma in law from the Uganda Law Development Center. So with that introduction, I would like to invite the Honorary Safia Nulula Juoko to the stage.
Oh, thank you very much, Ashley, for that wonderful introduction. Yes, my name is Safia Nulula Juoko. I'm an alumni of Wild Women of MIUSA, and I'm happy to be with MIUSA again, connecting with colleagues like Susan Segal, meeting new friends like Ashley, and in our country, meeting the young people like Aluna. I would like to say that I've never studied in the United States, but I have attended the MIUSA Leadership Institute training for women with disabilities for the years 1997 and 1998. I just discovered that traveling to another country, because it was my first time to travel to the United States, it was such a wonderful experience. And that time, actually, I traveled alone. And you know what? I had been invited in Norway and Denmark for another exchange program. And the very day I had to come back to Uganda is the day when I had to connect again to travel to Oregon. So I didn't have a lot of experience in traveling, but I asked the people who hosted us in Denmark. Actually, I had tickets so that I could just connect from Denmark then to Oregon. And I successfully traveled to Oregon, landing in Seattle, and I was picked by Susie Grimes. Of course, studying abroad, especially for us people with disabilities, give us an opportunity to exchange, to get new people, to learn, to meet new people, learn new skills, and the diplomatic relations you create, but you get the exposure. But with the barriers associated with the disabilities, sometimes it's difficult for us to travel and participate in these training programs. Some of the barriers, I think they are common to all of us, like getting visas. Previously, getting United States visas was very easy, but these days it's not very easy, especially when you are not a diplomat. And for persons with disabilities, getting a visa for a helper or an assistant has actually become very, very difficult. So now with the Mayusa Clearinghouse, maybe they may need to develop some guidelines to share with the different missions in the different countries, so that person with disabilities can be assisted to easily travel and go and study. With the accommodation, my experience was that Mayusa organized homestays, and they catered initially, because for me, I didn't tell you, I'm a woman with a physical disability and I move on 2 crutches. They managed to organize for us accommodations, homestays, which had access to, which were friendly to our disabilities, and then we could stay with those kind of people. And then when it came to the learning itself, this is something new I saw with Mayusa, because Mayusa, the way they were delivering the leadership training skills was so practical that no person with any disability could believe that she could not manage anything. I was excited to see one of the activities was when we went to the training room. After the training, every session, we're supposed to clean up, to clean the cups, and then for us who were coming from Africa, we thought that somebody else would come and clean, but they told us that it is us to do it, so that the next users can use it, because it was a community hall. Like going to the Mackenzie River for swimming. That was an experience I could not imagine that I could swim. Then camping, going to the coastline, and then making tents by ourselves. It was also wonderful. And then the climax of it all was the climbing of the tallest tree in the forest. Whatever the disability, everybody managed to climb that tallest tree. For me, my left leg is weak, but I was trying to use both legs. But one of my colleagues told me that, Shafia, don't use that leg. It is useless. I just used one leg and I climbed up to the top. On coming down, when the press asked me, I said that what was my experience? They asked me. I said that any person with disability can use his or her remaining abilities, of course, with the right facilitation, to excel. So why am I sharing this experience? For the people who travel to different countries of the world to actually go and study, they need to get maybe the format, the way Mayusa organizes her leadership skills, so that a person with any type of disability can actually equally participate and benefit from the training. Hello? Ashley?
Thank you very much, Honorable Safia. You clearly shared some exciting information, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that experience. Actually, as someone with a disability, many people have some kind of, misconceptions, especially about travel abroad. But then you come here and you share that experience, you're gonna motivate other individuals. They're gonna be able to learn from that. And yeah, with that said, thank you very much for sharing that, for letting us know about your experience with Moisa. And now it's a very great pleasure to introduce our moderator of the day, a very great friend of mine, tuning all the way from Cameroon. So that friend is actually called Massive Recording. We're gonna be leading our today's session. And so now, introducing her quiet very quickly and briefly. Massive Recording was born in Bamenda, Cameroon, and she has gotten a very rich experience with international exchange programs. Is actually an alumni of the Next Generation Leaders Program. a youth leadership initiative of the Talwaz Network of Engaged University, supported by the MasterCard Foundation. Through this program, Marcel collaborated with the fellow participants to develop the For Youth by Youth movement, which is a global movement of young leaders from Africa and beyond. And also very excited that we have some of this For Youth by Youth Global Fellows on this platform as well. Marcel currently serves as the hotel recruitment and selection specialist for this movement. At a community level, Master is a community health and project development specialist with a strong background in nursing and grassroots leadership. She is actually the co-founder of Community Health Promotion and Rehabilitation Initiative, as well as a micro health insurance scheme serving very many underserved people in Cameroon. In addition to her community work, Master served as an administrator for the Gracious Research and Education Association, as well as a project advisor for Vision in Action Cameroon. So join me to welcome Marcel to the podium, and then now the mic is yours to moderate the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Haruna, for that warm welcome and introduction. Like I said in the beginning, I'm excited to be here because I know I'm also going to be learning from the world of experience of the scholars we have on the program today. So I picked a few things when Honorable Safia was talking, and I was so encouraged by the support. I'm sure some people on the call are already sitting so well to hear that Honorable Safia has issues with both legs, but she had all the support to be able to navigate her journey as a scholar or as an intendant. So today you are going to get more. You are going to get more comfortable. You're going to hear a lot of experiences from the people. We have amazing people on this panel. And I'm sure your journey will be a lot easier because you have a lead. These people on this panel are all ready to lead you. They are all ready to guide you through, and your journey will be so smooth. So I'm going to be inviting the panelists and I'm going to be introducing them to you one after the other. So I'm going to start with Dr. Patrick Ojok. He's from Uganda. Dr. Patrick is a PhD holder, a senior lecturer and dean of the Faculty of Special Needs and Rehabilitation at Bongo University, Uganda, and the immediate past head of the Department of Community and Disability Studies. He serves as an adjunct research assistant professor at the Department of Disability and Human Development, University of Illinois at Chicago, USA. He's also a Fulbright and NORAD scholar, a DAT alumnus, and NORD postdoctorate fellow 2017 and 2018. Dr. Ojok also received his PhD in Disability Studies from the University of Illinois, Chicago, USA in 2015. His research was focused on disability policy, inclusive education, inclusive employment, African perspectives on disability and accessibility in technology. So everything inclusive, Dr. Patrick is going to be our reference. So we are happy to have you on the panel, Dr. Patrick. And the next on the panel is Denise Uma. Denise Uma is is one of the professional fellows program on inclusive civic engagement alumni. Denise is an alumnus of the Professional Fellows Program on Inclusive Civic Engagement. He holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree from Makerere University and is currently pursuing a double master's degree in disability studies and at Kiambogo University in Uganda, and in corruption and governance at the University of Sussex, UK. The latter funded by the prestigious Chevening Scholarship administered by the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Commonwealth and Development Office. Dennis is a disability rights advocate and a consultant in disability inclusion. He currently serves as a head of training programs at United Persons with Disability, where he is dedicated to empowering persons with disabilities and promoting their full inclusion in community life. Dennis identifies as a person with quadriplegia. So you are welcome, Dennis. We are excited to have you here and ready to interact with you. The next on our panel is Michael Martin. He's from Malawi. Michael is an alumnus of the prestigious Solus Claus Chilima Scholar, which supports academically talented yet financially disadvantaged students in Malawi. He holds a bachelor's degree in journalism from the Malawi Institute of Journalism. Through his journalism, Michael amplifies the voices of marginalized communities and highlights critical social issues that often remain overlooked. Alongside his media work, he has emerged as a prominent human rights advocate, engaging in public speaking, community outreach, and media campaigns aimed at challenging misconception and reshaping public discourse in Malawi and beyond. Martin identifies as a person with albinism. Martin, we are excited to have you here, and we know we're going to be learning a lot from you. So the next on our panel is Dr. Goreti Biome. She is also from Uganda. Dr. Goreti is an alumna of the Young African Leaders Initiative YALI, Regional Leadership Center East Africa, and a Mandela Washington Fellow. She serves as a lecturer and director of the Disability Resource and Learning Center at Makerere University Business School in Uganda. Currently, Dr. Goreta chairs the Mandela Washington Fellowship Disability Inclusion Knowledge Network and serves as vice president of the U.S. Exchange Alumni Uganda, representing over 5,000 alumni of U.S. exchange programs in Uganda. She is also a member of the MasterCard Foundation Steering Committee for 2024 to 2035. To 2034, that's a span of 10 years. Goreti is a gender diversity and disability researcher and consultant and has led extensive advocacy in inclusive education, health and digital technology, and livelihoods. Dr. Goreti, we are happy to have you on this call, and we are ready to hear a lot of insights from you. This session of today is so rich. The panel keeps going. The next on our panel is Zebib Hadish. Zebib Hadish Baraki, originally from Ethiopia, is an Australian award scholar currently pursuing a master's degree in human rights and global engagement at Curtin University in Australia. She is also an alumni of the Young African Leader Initiative Regional Leadership Center East Africa. Prior to her scholarship, Baraki served as an inclusive employment support officer with Light for the World in Ethiopia, where she advanced disability inclusion and promoted employment opportunity for marginalized groups. Zebib has a physical disability. Zebib, we are so happy to have you on the call. Thank you for creating time to talk to the younger ones and to empower us all. And finally, not the least, on our call, we have Hanifa Nalwoga from Uganda. Hanifa is currently a graduate student at the Rochester Institute of Technology in New York, USA, supported by the Sasakawa Nippon Foundation Scholarship. She is also an alumna of the Young African Leadership Initiative, Regional Leadership Center, East Africa. Prior to her graduate studies, Hanifa served with organizations such as Uganda National Association for the Deaf, National Union of Disabled Persons of Uganda, and ADD International following her graduation from Makerere University. Hanifa has moderate hearing loss and identifies as a hard of hearing person. Hanifa, you are welcome on the call. So I welcome you all to the call today. I am excited to be here and to be moderating this session. I will now call on you all to please turn on your cameras if you are able. So it's going to really make engagement easier. And secondly, to the audience, if you are able to also come on camera, that's fine. And I want the audience to engage. If someone is saying something that you really like, send us a heart. You encourage us to want to tell you more. Interact. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat, or you want to reserve them for the end, no problem. But we are here and we're going to take all your questions. We're going to clarify you. No question is foolish. So ask any foolish question you want to ask. Anything you feel like it's not sounding okay for you, it's okay for the audience. Whatever is a doubt for you, the audience is ready to answer. The panelists are ready to answer you and navigate you through that career path you want to take. So I'm going to be posing a few prompts for our discussion of today. We are happy to have you here. So we're going to be taking a few prompts which were gathered from the registration. And if you have any other question, like I said, you can drop them in the chat. So the first question is going to go to Dennis Omar. So he should get ready while I'm getting the question for him. Can you share some of your personal experiences traveling or studying abroad as a person with disability? What are the experiences you have traveling for the first time as a person with disability out of your own country? Over to you, Denise.
Thank you. Thank you, Mercy, for
Your work.
very ably moderating this afternoon session. For those that are not able to see me, I am clean shaven most of the time, including now. I have a grown beard. When I was asking my personal assistant how I should describe my face, she said I need to add I have big ears. I'm putting on a white shirt and a purple tie. It's a pleasure to be on this panel this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very humbled to be sharing the same podium with people like Dr. Patrick Ojok, like Dr. Biomire, in whose footsteps we continue to tread every day. Those are our mentors here in the country and as far as disability inclusion and advocacy is concerned. To answer your question very quickly, traveling to the United States for the spring 2024 Professional Fellows Program was not only a transformative experience, but absolutely empowering. As a person with a disability, I had anticipated challenges, obviously, but I was very inspired by the level of preparedness and intentional inclusivity that I encountered, particularly at my host site, which was the Sonoran Center for Excellence in Disabilities at the University of Arizona. Looking at ranging from accessible transportation systems to adaptive housing, clear signage, to the presence of disability resource centers across the university, I found a society that had embedded access into their culture. My participation in sessions with institutions, multiple institutions like the Disability Rights Arizona, Ability 360, and the Institute for Human Development offered very practical insights into how inclusion can systemically be built into education, be built into the healthcare systems, be built into employment, among others. It reinforced the idea that with the right accommodations and support systems, people with disabilities can indeed fully thrive. Over to you, Marcel.
Thank you so much. I was trying to connect back to my computer. I have power failure, so I was trying to switch devices. Thank you so much, Dennis. I'm going to also ask the same question to Zebib. What was your experience? How was it for you for the first time when you traveled out?
Thank you so much, Mercy. I'm so happy to be here and so grateful to be among other YALI alumni and also other people who have gone through scholarships. And my experience and coming to Australia is very adventurous. I've only been to Kenya and Egypt, but for workshops, but not for a long stay of the scholarship. But one thing I loved about this scholarship is 24% of the Australian African Award Scholar goes to persons with disabilities, which makes me happy of the inclusion and the strategies they make to include persons with disabilities from African countries. And I was so humbled to be here, and also I've got the support that I need. I'm staying on campus accommodation, which is very accessible room with many supports that along with student contact officers. And the experience overall has some challenge as well, and also some good parts. So one of the challenges that I can mention can be a cultural shock, which is staying away from home. And as you know, many African countries, we are very socializing as a community. We socialize a lot, and I find it here a bit challengeful, but then I have to adopt and, try to find communities, try to engage in ways that I can communicate with other people. But overall, the learning styles and the different ways of the support that I've got in terms of accessibility, accessible materials, and I'm a person with physical disability. I use crutch and a brace to walk. So I was able to find transportation from the campus to take me to the classes, and also the classes were very accessible and teachers are helpful and accommodating. I have found the Australian Award Scholarship very important and nurturing to personal growth. And I hope other persons with disabilities would be inspired enough to pursue scholarship as well. Thank you so much, Mercy.
Thank you, Zebib. Thank you. I was about following up the question of the challenges and the positive experiences that you have, but you already covered that in your expression. So I'm going to still ask the same question to Hanifa. Hanifa, can you tell us how was it for you? Was it different from what they have shared? Is there anything you want to add? Let's hear from Hanifa.
Thank you so much. My name is Hanifa Naroga. I am a Black African woman. Yeah, currently living in the USA as a graduate student. So I want to share my experience as a student in the US. So I would like to say my first time to the USA was not the first time I was traveling outside of the country. Of course, I had traveled to some other countries or continents like Asia and Europe, but traveling to the US, I got more experience staying outside of my country, because I can say that I'm staying much longer than I had stayed outside of my country before. So when I arrived here, I always say people were very supportive for the first time. From the time I applied to come for the studies, they supported me when I was still in my country through the application process, visa processing, and travel. So when I arrived here, someone was already at the airport to pick me, and accommodation was arranged for me. So the travel and arriving in the USA was very okay. So when I arrived here, I found out that I had a different perspective when I was coming because it was my first time in the US. For example, I thought I was going for a graduate degree. Of course, I had done my BA, bachelor's degree in Uganda. I thought the experience will almost be the same, but I found out the cultures are somehow different. The education systems, how we learn in Uganda and the US, the education systems are different. Of course, we are in the same classes, but how we learn in America, the classes are conducted differently. So you have to adapt to new systems in America. But also I found that the classes are inclusive. I am hard of hearing. I need an interpreter, or I need captions. I need written notes. I need maybe online classes. Everything will be available. So if you need anything, someone is always there to support you. You have an advisor, you have a counselor, you have a personal mentor, anything. Of course, we have challenges. You will be new to the society, the culture, but you always have someone to support you if you communicate. Also, another thing I saw, people are very strict on time. At least challenged me, yeah. I was backward with my African time. Almost sometimes I'm delaying 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes. But I found here people are very strict with time. So I was always apologizing. Oh, sorry, I'm late. But after some time, I got used. So you must always be on time. If it's 4 p.m., you must be there either 5 minutes before p.m. or exactly 4 p.m. Or you have to communicate. So time challenged me here, but after some time, I get used. People were supportive. People are not judgmental. If you were wrong, they are always willing to support you. They are not judging. So I was willing to learn. Everyone was telling me, we are not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do this. So I was always willing to learn new things. So with time, I caught up. Also studying, I thought we are learning our African way. You go to class, you start learning with your teacher. No, something changed here. You have to be ahead of the class. So everything is set ahead. When you go to class, it's a discussion. You have to know something. You are discussing based on what you already know. So you must read before your classes. And another thing about inclusion was language. I came here as a person with disability, hearing loss. I had learned Uganda Sign Language. So when I came here, I thought I was very okay. I was very perfect with communication. So USA Sign Language is very different. It challenged me so much. So when I was in class, I saw my teachers were using American Sign Language, yet I was used to Uganda Sign Language or even speech. So I had to go back to class and learn American Sign Language. So I found out that I had my beliefs and perspective about what I was expecting to find here, but also I had new things to learn. So I try to learn every day one thing. Also, staying outside of the country. I talked about culture and food. Yes, people have mentioned many things, but you should be aware. Accommodation, accessibility, also food. The food here is very challenging, especially if you have not been here for a long time. Yes, I was a Muslim and focusing on halal meals only. That was a challenge, finding halal meal. Also, the menu, American foods, were not good for me. So I tried to find out. What I had to do was to communicate like I have said, everything you need here, you can communicate, and always someone's available to support you. So I had to communicate. People were supporting me, finding me something to support, to help me from the challenges. No food, no halal food, they found an alternative. No African food, they gave me another alternative. Yeah. So the support system in America, like I say, sometimes you feel like maybe you are asking a lot from people. Maybe you are afraid of being judged. Sometimes you hold on of your fears, but someone's always available to support you. So that's what I found in America. After sometimes I got used the situation. Weather. Yes, the weather. I came here around summer, springtime, but the weather was so cold. It's cold, yes, unlike Africa, it's cold and windy. So you have to expect everything different. Some things are the same, but some things are different from weather, from culture, from socialization. So we are used to you meet people. Sometimes some of us, we are introverts, so we take long to make friends. But when you communicate to people, you will find out that people are willing to cooperate with you. So what is important? You be ready to meet new people. You be ready to learn. You be ready to make new connections here in America. So everyone may be fear to meet another person, but once you approach a person, you will find that everyone is willing to support. Yeah, that's what I learned.
Okay.
People are not judgmental. People are open. As long as you approach and meet them, people will open up and we make friends and things will move on. Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting, Hanifa. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I'm sure it's beginning to relax a lot of people. I know traveling away from home, you're going to have issues with food. Yeah, food, because you're not used to what they eat there. So you're going to be trying to adapt to their food. But I also like the fact that going to somebody's country, you're going to try new things and you're going to see that at the end of the day, you adapt because you cannot die, you have to eat something. So I'm sure you adapted at the end of the day and you started eating some of their foods. And I also appreciate the fact that you talked about the sign language. And those who are on this call who are wishing to travel, maybe you are in Africa, who've now heard that African signing is not the same like American signing or other countries. So if you plan to travel to America to study, you have to start looking at how it is being done there. How is their interpretation? So, and also start being time conscious. So I know in Africa they say we like to be late, but we are trying, we're stepping up and we are learning. When you go higher, you see that, or when you get to interact with people, you see that you need to start keeping to time. So thank you all for sharing your experiences, the challenges you had, and the positive experiences that you had. I'm sure it's very helpful to someone on this call. So I'm going to be going on to Dr. Goretti to tell us how it was for her when she was preparing to study abroad. How did she approach selecting her institution or the scholarship program? What made you to choose the particular program you chose back then?
Thank you very much, Marcy, for the introduction. And I'm quite very happy to be on the call. I'm hearing a noise in the background. Am I being heard?
It's fine now. I think
Okay,
it's good.
thank you. All right. Thank you very much. My name is Goretti Biomira once again. I'm from Uganda. I'm a lecturer. I'm also the director of a Disability Resource and Learning Center. I'm quite a very passionate disability inclusion advocate. And I'm an African woman. For those by description, I'm an African woman, Black African woman, and I'm wearing a a blue denim jean dress, and African hair. So I'm happy to be on the call. My personal experiences traveling abroad. My personal experiences what to do with the preparation of studying abroad. Well, I look for the different opportunities. I always look out for opportunities. There's opportunity desk, and then we also have also part of groups and networks where people share opportunities. And one of the places that I've gotten opportunities is LinkedIn. They usually share opportunities on fellowships and scholarships. And I remember I was also a board member for the yearly RLC South Africa, although it closed, but I was a board member from 2023 to 2025. I also got that opportunity on LinkedIn. So usually once in a while I go on LinkedIn and look for opportunities, and I have applied for a few things here and there, scholarships, consultancies, and I have gotten them. So as a young person, you need to have a LinkedIn profile. That is one space that you easily get opportunities for fellowships and scholarships. And what I like about LinkedIn is that the moment you search something, so your data is kept. So every time something comes up, you'll find it within your news feed. So if you're always searching scholarship or fellowships or opportunities, whenever an opportunity comes in, LinkedIn will kind of like send you a message or put it on your feed. So that one really helps. Then I've also I have been the president of the Mandela Washington Fellowship, and then I was also past president for the Mandela Washington Fellowship and Disability Community Knowledge Network. So and I've also been the vice president of the US Exchange Alumni Network, which housed like over 6,000 alumni for the different US Exchange programs. And I must say that, okay, I have been able to build connection and report with the US mission, and one of the things that US mission in Uganda, and one of the things that I advocated for was why don't you increase, I was telling our alumni coordinator, why don't you, and our public diplomacy officers, why don't you increase the quota for persons with disabilities? And then they told me, yes, they want to increase that quota, but unfortunately, when students with when persons with disabilities apply for those opportunities, first of all, the way they answer the question, and you know, these opportunities are very, very competitive. I'll give you an example, the Mandela Washington Fellowship. Last year, they took like, people had applied up to like 8,000 from Uganda or 5,000 at the list. So now out of those 5,000, the list goes to Washington. So when it goes to Washington, they'll run the list through they will run a list through a program which will just eliminate. So out of the for instance, the 8,000 that are sent to Washington, 300 come back. And sometimes when the 300 come back, we don't even have persons with disabilities on that 300. And then when that 300 come back, then we have the local selection here. And then we have a local selection here, and then we have like people going to the interviews down to 100, and then finally after the interviews, okay, they'll interview like 300, then it will go, then they'll they'll go through various stages and processes of selecting, and then that's when they can come up with either the 27 or 26 or 25, whoever they are taking. But I have been an application reader myself. I have read community solutions applications. I have read application for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. And one of the things that I can say is that the way persons with disabilities answer questions, and someone just talks about themselves. I want to do this. I want to go to the US and do ABCD. I want to meet people. So it becomes more I want. And yet the scholarship, the fellowships are looking at impact. They're looking at impact. Supposing we empowered you, Goretti, and you went to the US, what would you do for your community? So one of the reasons that we have gotten an over year in, year out is that the person with disability, the way they answer the question is about themselves. There's nothing like impact. And no one is going to put money in you. Someone wants to put money in you so that if they're putting money in you, if they're investing in you, it should be able to create a ripple effect such that other people can benefit people in your community. And I remember the time I went to Kenya and I met some deaf students, and I was talking to them, and they were telling me, well, we have applied for the scholarship, for the fellowship, for the Manila fellowship, like 3 times, and we have never got. So I asked them, what do you do? Actually, I usually get people in my inboxes and sometimes even people from other countries. So they send me the application. I push the application aside. Then I ask them, tell me about yourself. They come so and so and so. Oh, what do you do? I train people, I do this. How do you do it? They tell you. Then how many people have you trained so far? They will say maybe like 6,000 or 300. Then you're like, okay. So you look at the application and that information is not anywhere. It is not anywhere. So that is one of the biggest challenge. And earlier on, I remember I was organizing info sessions for persons with disabilities on how to answer this question. But unfortunately, you would have a turn up of 5 people who are not interested, and then they keep on applying, and then I just had to give up. And then also when you apply for an application, when you apply this year, you don't use the same SC next year because they have they run your application through a system. So if you apply this year, so it's not going to consider that Michael, the one who applied last year, is the same person. For it will consider that Michael has copied someone else's AC and something. So these are the things that we can share, but we have had a lot turn up of persons with disabilities, and then they keep on applying. They are not, you organize webinars, they are not attending, and then they don't get the fellowship. And I think at least for like the last 2 or 3 years with the Manila Washington Fellowship, we've not been getting persons with disabilities in there. And they'll tell you, yes, it is very competitive, but they tell you this is what is needed. This is what you should tell people, and this is how they should answer. But people have not been quite very responsive and cooperative. And so we continue to have that challenge, that the problem. So, and this applies to any, even if you just apply for a grant or a scholarship, you must demonstrate impact, because it is better for someone to invest something that is going to create a ripple effect than just one person. I want to go to the US, I want to meet people, I want to network. It has to move beyond I. When someone says I, it's like you don't have any leadership potential, you're just about yourself. I love talk too much, sorry, but thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Goretti. You know, lecturers always talk. I will not blame you. So you're a lecturer and we're actually listening as your students, and we actually learned a lot. I was even jotting down. So the first thing I picked from there was when you talked about LinkedIn, and I'm going to add that as students, as young persons that were growing, mind what you are posting on your social media. That is the one platform that reference is always made to really know who you are. And if you haven't started building a profile on social media, you may want to consider building a good profile, and you may want to consider what you search, because that is what is going to appear on your feed almost all the time. So thank you so much for highlighting that, and then talking about the impact, as you mentioned. I also work for selection and recruitment for fellowships, and most of the time you are looking out for the impact that this project is going to have in the community. The impact that this person is going to have in the community is not only about the I. And on a follow-up with that, not talking about the you want to carry on impact. You've already made this mistake. Talking about, I want to do this, I want to travel, I want to network. Yes, you've made that mistake. After how long, what window of time do you think, if I was not selected for a program, I can reapply? Because like you mentioned, if you reapply, they feel like you've copied someone's work. So what window of time is the best to reapply for maybe you applied for yearly last year and you were not taken? When can you advise that this same candidate can come back to apply, and how can this candidate now put their application?
Now, I think you can apply year in, you can apply year in, year out. If you apply this year, it is okay. You can also, and you did get, then you can apply the other year. Because sometimes there are certain issues that can come up. Well, I have seen people who are very good being left because, they have to consider regional balance. They have to get people from the northern region, from the southern region, from different regions of the country. There are some dynamics that sometimes happen. And so if you did get this year, next year you apply. But as you apply, you have to, every single year, you have to start a fresh application.
Okay.
You write the application fresh. You don't, whatever you submitted last year, yes, it can be the same work, but just sit down, write down the same, whatever you're doing, but in a different way. Because if anything is ever the same, your application will be thrown out. So it doesn't matter whether it is 3 years or 4 years, that the system will still read that, yes, these two applications are similar. So the best advice is that you sit down and write the application from your head or from your heart. And then even if it's about the same piece of work that you're doing. So every time you're applying, you don't copy and paste the application to different programs. Sit down and apply for the fellowship or the
Thank you.
scholarship. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Goretti. So our dear students on the call, please take note, no copy and paste from your old application. If you did not make it last time, you have to sit down, think again, and then write from your head or your heart. Take note of that. Thank you so much, Dr. Goretti. So I'm going to come to you, Michael Martin, and I'm still going to be asking you this same question, like what guided you in making a choice of what university to apply to or what program to apply to when you were doing that?
All right, thank you. My name is Michael Martin from Malawi, a person with the albinism. First of all, as a scholar who has faced numerous challenges in my academic journey, I understand that that the importance of creating opportunities and breaking down barriers for people with disabilities in my country. So growing up, I faced numerous significant challenges in my accessing education, but I tried my best indeed. Being a person with albinism here in Malawi, we faced numerous challenges like discrimination. Since 2014, when I was at secondary school, people with albinism have been killed, abducted, believing that people with albinism, that issue can make someone to achieve something, or probably can just make someone to make money or to grow up his or her business. So this is the reason why it prompted me to go for a journalism program that now I'm having its paper, bachelor's degree in journalism, to amplify the voice of voiceless and to advocate the rights of the persons with the albinism, and to make sure that people are aware of the challenges and understand that the people with albinism so can make something impact in the society. So my story has not been without to challenge. So as a person with disability, I have faced numerous barriers in accessing education, employment, and healthcare. However, so I have always believed that with determination and the hard work, anything is possible. Anything is possible, regardless that the person is what has a disability. So I experienced a very importance of creating opportunities and breaking the barriers. I am committed to use my skills and my experience to break down, advocate for the rights of persons with disabilities, and to promote inclusivity. Therefore, here in Malawi, for a person with a disability, especially people with albinism, they sideline in various development projects, or even to stand as a presidential or even the parliamentarian candidate. It is very complicated because they trust that people with disabilities they can't make impact things in to the society. So this is the reason why I opted to go for my degree in journalism. The aim was to amplify the voice of voiceless, especially persons with disabilities in my country. So in 2022, after finalizing my bachelor's degree in journalism in Malawi, I got the opportunity to go to America to study bachelor's degree in business communication and financial accounting under South Cinema Foundation, the organization that promised to supply everything, regardless of some challenges I encountered there. The first problem, the most challenges that hindered that affected my life there was accessibility of some technological gadgets like computer and the likes, because the organization promised that it will only give me accommodation and the school fees and the likes, apart from some training equipment. So it was very difficult for me to access this, but with the grace of God, I managed to get all of them. Yeah. So to
Okay.
yes.
Okay, go on, Michael.
Yeah, thank you very much. So when I was there, I tried even to to analyze the SWOT analysis only that can assist to find out the challenges or strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats that makes the people with albinism or people with disabilities to access the education abroad without facing some challenges. So the strength was to resilience and determination of people with disabilities, growing awareness and understanding about disability issues. So that is the strength, and the weakness was limited access to education and employment opportunities, lack of representation and participation in decision-making processes. So the opportunity was implementing accessible infrastructure and technologies, promoting all inclusive policies and practices, empowering people with disabilities to participate in decision-making processes. And the threat was stigma and discrimination, lack of awareness and understanding about the disability issues, pendularistics and attitudes that undermine the autonomy and the dignity of people with disabilities in Malawi. After that, I came up with a recommendation. So the recommendation was to create opportunity for people with disabilities. I recommended the following factors. First factor was to government and organizations should implement inclusive policies and practices. Accessibility standards should be enforced and more monitored. The second recommendations, awareness and understanding about disability issues should be promoted in all diverse. So people with disabilities should also be empowered to participate in decision making, especially in climate change, healthcare, and education rights. So accommodation and support services should be provided to facilitate equal access to education among people with
Thank you so
disabilities.
much, Michael. Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. I'm happy that you are that voice to the voiceless people in Malawi and you're advocating for the disabled folks to be out there in good position so that they can advocate for the others as well. Thank you so much for those insights. We truly appreciate, and I'm sure we've picked a lot from your journey so far. So I'm going to come back to Dennis, and I'll be asking you, during your studies abroad, how did disability-related factors shape your journey? Maybe the barriers you faced, accommodations you received, and the inclusion efforts you observed. How did they shape your journey as a person today? Please, I would like you to be brief. 3 minutes is fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mercy, again, and colleagues, for your contributions to this insightful session. Disability-related factors shaped every single step of my journey, as asked. While I didn't face many physical barriers, given the excellent US infrastructure, what stood out was the proactive approach to accommodations. At the University of Arizona, for example, disability was not treated as an afterthought, as is the case in many African countries. From real-time sign language interpretation to accessible learning materials, fully inclusive public spaces, the entire system worked seamlessly to promote equity. And that's a fact. These experiences made me reflect on the stark contrast with Ugandan systems, where many students with disabilities, for example, still struggle to access lecture halls or learning materials. It gave me a stronger drive to adapt these practices back here in the country, not just physically, but systemically, so that it is everybody's contribution and indeed the nature of work I do, including the follow-on projects that I've done, speak to the same effort. Over to you, Basi.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amara Dennis. Yeah, the spaces were so inclusive. Like if you are walking on your wheelchair, you don't have to worry. If you need someone to sign for you, you don't have to worry. I like that. I like that. So I think it takes away fear from someone who is actually wanting to apply for the scholarship. So I'm going to come back to you, Dennis. But before I do that, I'm going to also want to hear from Zebib again. What examples of effective collaboration or inclusive practices would you like to highlight? So Zebib could take us on that. What examples of effective collaboration or inclusive practices would you like to highlight?
Thank you so much again, Mercy. So the Australian Awards scholarship was sponsored by Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade in Australia. And the collaborations I want to mention would be with Ethiopian government, as well as the also other fellows from, or the scholars have many experiences, and you have no idea how I'm so grateful to meet other scholars from different backgrounds. And this shows me if there is effective collaboration, and also tracing a person with disabilities in many areas as per your disability, as per types of disabilities, as per your exposures. And we all came from different backgrounds and different places. And I believe the collaborations with organizations of persons with disabilities, also the government, and also scholars, like individually. For example, me, myself, I've got the opportunity with the link I've got from my sister, and she works for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia. So these networks, developing a network with whomever it is, for example, associations, international NGOs, local NGOs, also like the YALI, the Young African Leadership Initiative, and also other collaborations are needed in ensuring to have an inclusive collaboration. I will make it short.
Thank you so much for making it short and very precise. So I'm going to come back to you, Dennis. From your bio, it shows you are a Chevening scholar as well. So I'm sure maybe some people on the call may be interested in also applying for the Chevening scholarship. What tips can you give us, maybe in 2 minutes? You are muted. Okay.
Thank you, Mercy. Again, these scholarships and fellowships, professional fellowships, are available every single year. And they are requiring people that are leaders, that are creating change, that are leading impactful initiatives within their communities. They're not looking at people who have simply fallen from heaven. They're not only looking for academic excellence. They holistically look at the individual. Why should, out of 70,000 people, for example, globally, that apply for the Chevening scholarship, why should it be the 2% that eventually win the scholarship? It is extremely competitive, like Dr. Goretti mentioned, but yes, if I did it, then anybody else can do it. Particularly, I'm quadriplegic. I'm a person with physical disability. I use a wheelchair to ambulate. I'm not able to write. I can't stand. I can't walk on my own. So the severity of my disability or the severity of any other person with disability should not come into the picture. Anybody can win this scholarship. But the question is, what are you doing in the community for now that sets you apart as an individual? Why should the United Kingdom government, or why should the US government spend 500 million Ugandan shillings or 100,000 US dollars on you and not several other hundreds of thousands of people? So in summary, there's a lot of support available on social media platforms. Specifically, if you asked about the Chevening scholarship, the Chevening platforms are on Twitter, they're on Facebook, they're on LinkedIn. There is popularly the Chevening Association Alumni of Uganda, and every other country has the same. The application window is about to open in a month or two, and you be on the lookout. There is a lot of support in as far as the alumni are concerned in guiding the prospective applicants through the application process, editing their essays, through the interview processes, all the way. So yes, you're not alone. Reach out to somebody who has won it, and you could just be the next person to win it. Mentorship is extremely critical in all these application and interviewing processes. Don't stand alone. We are out to help you. Over to you, Mercy.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you so much for sharing those insights. I'm sure some people on the call will be interested and they're probably reaching out to you. So I don't know if you all don't mind, we could drop your your contacts, your links to get to your profiles on the chat, so that if someone wants to reach out to you people personally, they could reach out to you people. And on that note, we're going to be opening the session to the audience for any question and answer. So thank you for those who have been responding in the chat so far. I saw Dr. Goretti, I saw Haruna responding in the chat. During the process of registration, we got some few questions, and I'm going to just pose some of those questions. While if you wish to talk, you can put up your hand and we're going to call you up to speak, ask your question directly. So I'm going to read out some of those questions, and any of you on the call can just unmute and answer them. So the first question is, I am experienced in human resource management with passion in inclusive employment, but I have never studied any single human resource course. Is it possible for me to take up master's or PhD course? I'll take the question again, and any of you can just unmute and respond to that. I am experienced in human resources management with passion in inclusive employment, but I have never studied any single human resource course. Is it possible for me to take a master's or PhD course, I think in the same human resource? Over to the panel.
Vicky. Absolutely, absolutely. My current supervisor for my second master's program did human resource at bachelor's. He did human rights at master's and did IT at PhD. Okay. If you're interested in winning these scholarships, however, or professional fellowships, you need to look at beyond academics. What else? How else are you changing the community? That is what sets you apart.
Okay.
Okay, that's what sets you apart, and you need to build a system. You need to network with people, seek mentorship from people who have done things that you have not done, so that at the end of the day, when you're responding to the critical questions that are being asked during the selection process, you are able to show that despite your academic capabilities, you are also in the community solving problems. But to ask your question, yes, you can do a master's in a different field to doctorate also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dennis. I think Zebib has something to add. You can go on, Zebib.
Thank you so much, Mercy. I would just like to add myself as an example, because my undergraduate degree is accounting and finance, but I'm doing my master's in human rights and global engagements. So the process was a bit competitive, but one thing, as Mr. Dennis has mentioned, is your experience matters, the way you express yourself, what you have tried in the community to do an impactful things, and also the engagements you have with different communities, with different initiatives will matter. So yes, the answer is yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So if you are that person who posed this question on the call, the answer is yes, you can pursue that master's or PhD in that field of interest, even if that was not what you studied in the undergraduate. Thank you so much for that insight. So I see someone's hand is up. Lillian, can you unmute and ask your question?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, this is Lillian from Nigeria. Thank you for all the insights we've had today. So my question is this: most applications have come by, is always available for scholars with first class, second class, or par. So we rarely see the ones that scholars with second class lower be able to apply. So I'm asking, Is there a reason for that? Or again, my second question, is there any scholarship that is specifically for persons with disability? Thank you.
Okay. Please, who wants to go? Who wants to take on that? Any of
If
the
I
panel?
may, majority of the scholarships, some scholarships are specific to academic excellence, okay? Some scholarships are. However, the vast majority of these scholarships are holistic in nature, like I mentioned. My own story will speak to how I was out of school for 10 years because I was involved in a terrible road accident. When I went back to school, I needed to do quantitative course units. And given the fact that I was not able to write on my own and I was simply dictating to my writing assistants who were not having a background in those specific course units, it was complicated. So I got a second class lower, okay, for my undergraduate. It did not affect the fact that I got a distinction in my first master's. No. I got a second lower in my undergraduate, yes, but I won the Chevening Scholarship, where only 2% globally qualify for the award. If you had me earlier, other than your academics, what else are you doing in the community to impact lives? You need to find answers to that question. And once you do, your academic credentials will not stand between you and your scholarship.
Thank you so much, Dennis. I saw Zebib had her hand up. Do you want to add something? You can go on.
I'm glad Dennis answered the first question, but I will answer the second one. So Lillian asked if there is specific scholarship for persons with disabilities. Well, there are, but I will leave my contact later and share the links. But when you're a person with disability, don't only look after scholarships only designated for persons with disabilities, because at the end of the day, we also have to prove to ourselves that we can do it. We can still compete, and we can still share that we can also contribute, and we can be outstanding in any scholarships that are possible. And also other scholarships specifically mention that persons with disabilities are encouraged. And also the first criteria after the application you've done and after you're selected would be also it would be given a privilege if you're a woman, if you're a person with disability, if you're in marginalized areas, and there are specific criteria. So my advice is look for scholarship and keep applying. And the more you apply, the more you know your strengths, the more you be confident in winning one scholarship.
Thank you so much, Zebib. I think those are one of the questions, like, how often should you apply? You had answered that, like, keep applying. And I think your experience grows when you keep doing it. Even if you fail the first time, you don't have to give up. You don't have to give up. Some people apply 10 times to be chosen once. So I think you keep applying. So long as it's still within your age, keep applying, keep doing it until you get what you want to get. And what is that little thing you can do in your community? Don't minimize it. Keep doing it and keep putting it out there. Someday, maybe you are the person they are looking out for. So thank you so much for that, for those insights, Dennis and Zebib. So I see Kennedy's hand is up. Kennedy, you can unmute and ask your question.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I would like to ask about currently I'm in Uganda, helping people with disability, but in a volunteering base. I did social works and social administration at the university with a second class upper, but willing to help more others, but I don't know how I can do that. At the same time, I'm a good researcher in proposing. I need a mentor. I want someone who can help me in this group. To help me mentoring me with things concerning community-based activities, and also scholarship for my master's I want to do in human rights. Since I've been growing up in a refugee camp around, helping people with disabilities since 2016, and I'm lacking mentorship program. As per now, and my age is aging up, I don't know whether I can still get those scholarships. Thank you so much. I really need an emergency help.
Okay, thank you, Kennedy. Kennedy is needing an emergency help. I'm sure your help is on this call. You got it. All right, one of you can unmute and talk to him.
Okay. Well, I love that Kennedy is volunteering a lot, and that expresses how interested you are and how you always try to create an impact in your society. And I love that about you. And also, I have volunteered a lot in my experiences, and I'm still volunteering, doing things back home through online and that. So it will pay off. But I hope, Mercy, you will tell Damba Haruna to organize another session like this so that we can share how to apply, how to be a best candidate. And I hope Dennis will help us, since you experience it a lot. Also, we all can contribute how we did it, how we have written our essays, so that you can get a rich experience in all the procedures, because I don't think we have enough time to explain this whole things.
Right.
But Nancy will share the contacts and we can reach him out through that, or maybe a WhatsApp group or anything. And I'll leave that assignment to Haruna. But Kennedy, keep trying to enrich your networks, keep trying to connect with people outside your country who are, enrolling in different scholarships or even fellowships, how they get the opportunities from where, and try to find out these friends who share links, especially on social media is rich nowadays. You have like the opportunity to get different links on LinkedIn's. So also update your profile so that people can reach out to you as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. MS. Haruna, I'm sure you've taken note of that. We'll be needing another call. We may not be able to answer all the questions here. I'm happy that the panelists are willing to maybe still help this panel to get more insights. So I have some questions here from Abraham. I don't know if it's the same questions he wants to ask. Abraham, you can just unmute and go on.
Thank you very much, President. Actually, those are the very questions that I would like to get answers from the panelists. Thank you.
All right, so I'll just read his questions. Where do we access these opportunities? I'm sure a link, Dr. Zebib had promised that she was going to share a link if I got that well. And Haruna can also share materials and links to sites where you can access information like that. And earlier they mentioned that on LinkedIn, what you search is what comes to your feed. So if you keep searching for scholarships, Chevening scholarship, USA scholarships, they'll keep coming to you. Besides that, beside the links they are going to share, I'm sure your searches also will help you to be able to get those scholarships you're looking for. That was just throwing light on that question. I'm sure the panelists will still have something to say. How and where do I get support if as far as study abroad opportunities for PWDs? So I don't know if someone wants to unmute and respond to Abraham.
Yes, Abraham, Dennis here. You are asking where to get opportunities to study abroad for people with disabilities. I think this has been pretty much answered by Zebib, by Mercy. Search for these things on LinkedIn. Okay? Even on Google.
I know.
Spend your data wisely. You have smartphones. Okay? All this information is available online. Simply input study abroad opportunities for PWDs like you've asked. But again, like Zebib mentioned, be keen not only to look for opportunities that are disability specific. All scholarships are inclusive. Okay? They are simply competitive. Nobody is going to have mercy or pity on you because you are a person with disability. No.
I know.
They are looking for the
Good
best
point.
candidates. To spend $100,000 on you, you must be outstanding, not
Oh,
because you have
yeah.
a disability. Otherwise, the 1.5 billion people globally would be winning scholarships because they are disabled. Okay? So go all out. For all scholarships, compete at every level. Don't apply to one scholarship. There are multiple scholarships. There are hundreds of scholarships out there. Okay? Reach out to Mr. Haruna Damba, who is the creator of this program. He's a very well-connected man. Reach out to him. He'll be able to share our information, our contacts, and other resources in relation to which opportunities exist. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Dennis Uma. Nobody's gonna have mercy on you. You have to stand out. I like that. You can say it louder. Yeah, so you need to stand out. And how do you stand out? Zebib has said, if you wrote the same application this year, don't be lazy next year. Don't copy and paste. Take your time and rethink and write again, because what you wrote last year was wrong. That's why you were not selected. It did not stand out. So you don't have to go the same route and you think that they are going to select you. You need to change the route. Thank you so much for that. So I see Josephine's hand is up, but before she comes up, I think if I don't read your question for some of the people who are on the call, some of the questions have been answered in the conversations. That's why I don't want to go on reading them. So I'm going to just ask Josephine to unmute and ask her question.
Okay, thank you so much, Mercy, for the presentation. And thanks, team, for organizing this wonderful platform. Yes, I'm Josephine. I'm a Wild Woman 2016 from Mayusa, who is a Profession Fellow alumni. I want to really add to what Dennis is saying. Dennis, first of all, thank you. The contribution really resonates with me, that as much as we would wish to go for disability-specific opportunities, there is no world that is so specific for only people with disabilities. So you just have to grab every opportunity that you think is within your capacity. Please go for it, and then look up for people to help you. Then there is a point that was raised by Dr. Goretti, how she started an initiative to help out people with disabilities during the application process. So this is something that I really see that is very vital, because from this engagement, so many people feel like they are so interested, but then to get what it takes so that you are able to, your application not to be thrown out. So this question goes back to you, our panelists. So how best do you think, how best can we come together to come up with a platform that can work on voluntary basis to guide and direct some of the applications? Because as much as Dr. Goretti said that most of the applications are filtered out, this is so most especially due to so many factors, and disability also, effects from disability being, you can't leave it out. So when it comes to deafness and comprehension, when it comes, there are so many factors that affect us. So for us to remain competitive on a global platform, then we have to come out handy with, a solution to help our fellows in order to go through this selection process. I'll be happy, and also will be willing to join in case something comes up. There are some of the few of us who have attended such exchanges and willing to give a hand to other colleagues. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Josephine. I'm so happy that we have people on this call who are willing to go out of their way to help these young people in brightening their futures and navigating the paths they have to walk through. So the next person on our list is Christine. Christine, you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to answer to that question.
Oh.
Yes, according to my experience, I have found out that most of us are doing something in the community, or we are impacting the community back home. But when it comes to application, we don't know how to put what we are doing on paper. So we are writing everything and leaving out the important information. That's how we end up missing out on opportunities. For example, for some fellowships, I had to apply more than 2 or 3 times before I succeeded. But how it happened? At first, I had a different perspective when I was applying. So like Goethe was saying, you put everything which is not needed on paper and you leave out what is much needed from your application. So your application ends up being thrown out because everything is based on merit. Remember, people who are selecting the applicants, they don't know about you. So you have to market your skills, your experience, the impact you are doing in the community to the panel who is selecting the applicants. So I found out that I had to get a mentor or someone who is advising me how to apply. The networks we build, some people have been there or they have experience. So you get connected to those people. They help you to apply, to select what you have to put on paper and how to market yourself to be competitive. Remember, the application process is very competitive. So they are not going to just select you just because you have a disability or you are from a developing country or just because you want to go to America or you want to go for the fellowship. No. What you put on paper will determine why they are going to select you or not. So I think collaborations, networks, having a support system, working with the people who are knowledgeable, who have been there, who have experience to support us, can help us go through or move from where we are now. And someone was saying that maybe I have second-class degree and someone has a second-class lower degree and has been selected. Sometimes it's not about the degrees we have, but the impact we are making in the community. For example, now I'm doing a master's degree in education of deaf people. But my first degree was in business and administration. But what I realized after my degree, I changed my career along the way. So over 10 years, I have been working in education, advocating for education for children who are deaf and hard of hearing, working in the community, impacting the community and schools, advocating for education. So when the opportunity came and they want people who are in education and human rights advocates, I had to apply and I went through because of the impact I was making in the community and the direction of my career, not just because of my degree. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hanifa. Since you had Christine on your name, I thought it was a student on the panel. Thank you so much. Thank you again. So thanks to all the panelists. And there is this one last question I'm going to ask. Someone was asking, I would like to know the age barrier to study abroad and what about us who have not yet done the IELTS program? So is IELTS a requirement that must be done? Is there an age limit? I think that's what the person wants to know. Any of you can unmute and respond to that.
To begin with, and maybe my colleagues can make contribution to the same, Many people do not want to read instructions during these application cycles, okay? They simply scroll through to question number 1. That is very dangerous. Read through the entire guidelines for every single scholarship opportunity to see if you qualify. Okay. It is only then that you will realize that this scholarship is either age specific or not.
Thank
Okay?
you. True.
Otherwise, age shouldn't be one of your worries when you're looking for these scholarship opportunities. Look at putting together a competitive case, okay, that will be convincing to the panel. Read through the instructions, you will see what the requirements of the scholarships are. Many people make applications up to the end. They spend one whole week on an application, only to realize that Ugandans, for example, are not eligible for the scholarship. Or that the scholarship is for those who are below 40 or below 25, but simply because they did not read through the guidelines. So these are simple issues. There are many scholarships out there. Go to them one by one, read through what the requirements are, so that you don't spend time and halfway the application. And the application is tough, by the way, okay? These applications are not food to eat. The difference between people who win these awards and those who don't is that those who win are willing to give it an entire shift. They put in the shift. They spend hours writing essays in response to the questions being raised. They spend days reaching out to people who have won these awards. They research and provide responses. Many people do so halfway and they give.
Thank you, Dennis. So I like what he said, like read through the instructions. I'll also reemphasize on that. Sometimes we don't read, we are just rushing to the questions, and in the instructions, you probably did not even need the IELTS, but you're trying to write the IELTS exams. So read through the instructions, and then you know. Please, can we mute our backgrounds? If you read through the instructions, you're going to know if you are eligible for this or not. So you don't also get to waste your time when you are not eligible. And you don't also get to miss an opportunity when you are eligible. So thank you so much for that point. I don't know if anybody wanted to contribute, but please, because of time, we're not going to take any contribution on that. I'm going to give each of you in the panel 30 seconds to tell this audience your last words. What key lesson, that one key lesson or insight you would like to leave with the audience today? 30 seconds each. So the first person I see on my screen is David. So you can just unmute and go.
Thank you so much, Mercy. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So I would like to say my last words would be, as a person with disability and the youth in my community, I would like to say, be vibrant, volunteer, work hard, spend time to improve yourself, and also try to engage in works that you impact other people in your community. Reach out to people, give advices, and be out there so that you can be a good candidate, not only to scholarship, but in life as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Be a good, I picked something, I'm trying to put it back. Improve on yourself so that you're also going to be of good to the people out there, not only to yourself. Thank you so much. I think that will also help me. I'm going to go now to Michael Martins. Can you just tell us your last word to this audience? 30 seconds.
Thank you very much, Madam, for giving me this particular opportunity to share my last words. So, first of all, here in Malawi, everything for a person to attain you need to pay, and the things that are very expensive. So the big worry here in Malawi is the writing skills among people with the disabilities. They fail to write the information or to share to get the information that can convince the one who will process the application. So to address this particular problem, a person with a disability is supposed to get a consultant for him or her to assist him to apply for the scholarship. So which you need a person with a disability to pay something to the consultant. So I think we need also to consider how to train. We need to train the persons with disabilities, the writing skills on how can they apply for the scholarship abroad. That is my last word I can share now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate that. Hanifa, what last word do you have for the audience?
I would say that studying abroad can be a very exciting opportunity, especially if it's your first time, maybe to fly outside of the country. But also it comes with challenges, so we have to be aware. Yes, our perspectives, what we already know is valid, but we must be open. You open your mind to learning new things, because things will change, or you will most likely meet different people or different things where you are going. So be ready and be open to learning and adoption to new environments, new cultures, and everything you are going to meet outside of your country.
Thank you.
Yeah. As a foreign student in a foreign country, you will be maybe depressed, you will get stressed, you will miss home, but what is more important, be focused on your goal. That's what I can say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hanifa. Dr. Goretti, you can go on.
Thank you very much, Mercy. What I can say is that my parting shot is out of the 10 opportunities or scholarships and fellowships that you apply for, you get one. So that means you have to keep on applying. I don't think, okay, you put so much effort, so much time, and therefore you should get this. No. So the more you apply, the more experience you get. And when you're rejected, just keep at it until you get something or you're accepted. And lastly, impact. Scholarships and fellowships are not given to people are not given to ordinary people. You must be extraordinary, you must have impact within your community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please don't be ordinary. Someone should take that word home. Be extraordinary. Scholarships are not given to ordinary people. You cannot be doing what every other person is doing and then you expect to be granted that opportunity. Please. So today we are advised to stand out. Thank you so much to all the panelists. You guys were so amazing. Your insights are certainly going to be helpful